Baingan Bharta. I hope I'm saying it right. It is a smoky, tasty, smooth aubergine dish. Well, that's what I believe it's meant to be. I saw it on Beryl Sharewski's, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name properly as well, video that she did about aubergine that came up on my YouTube feed last night. And I had an aubergine in. I've got one in my bread and butter thing box, and I've been just trying to decide what to do with it. I mean, I could do moussaka, but I've been there, done that, get that, you know, very often. And then I thought about, as it's sometimes called eggplant parmesan, but I was going to do a veganised version of it. But then I saw this recipe. It looked really good. It looked so simple. So I thought I'd have a go. So wish me luck. I'm Samantha. This is the channel Trying to Get By, and we're getting by with an aubergine today. Ooh. Anyway, not to be rude, we have an aubergine. A very nice big aubergine, looks good. We've also got some other ingredients. Now, I'm kind of jiggling the recipe as I am wont to do. So the main recipe involves ginger and garlic, onion, but I've got shallots that need using up. It says use mustard seed oil. I don't have mustard seed oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some oil. I'm going to put some mustard seeds in and then take the mustard seeds out once they have popped and infused the oil. One ingredient that Beryl was using is called asafoetida. It's not something that I can easily get hold of. It's not something I had in, but I did have a look, and it says sub it out with a bit of garlic and onion powder and you should get a similar-ish sort of flavour. A little bit of chilli, not too much, and tomatoes. Now, I could use fresh tomatoes, but I have these in from last year's garden haul. This year's garden haul is not going to be great, but never mind. That's a separate story. And then when Beryl was talking about it, she says people would have it more like a side dish and serve it with naan, but she did say something about potatoes. So I thought I do have potatoes. I'm going to do some cubed cumin potatoes in the air fryer to go along with it. But the first thing we've got to do is the most fun part, I think, which is we're going to stab our eggplant, aubergine, however you want to call it. And then I'll put a little bit of oil on it, not too much, because I don't want to risk it getting it too flamey. And I'm putting a tiny bit of oil on there. That's one spray, so that's barely anything. And then you could do this in an oven. You could do this in the air fryer. I'm doing it directly on the gas. We want this to scorch. We want this to make sure that the outside of this is completely charred, which will then cook the inside as well. So we're going to use tongs to turn it, and any cook knows you've got to test the tongs before you use them. So we're going to do that. We're going to keep turning it, and then I'm going to put it in a container to steam so that the skin is easy enough to peel off. Yes, it's definitely going to make a little bit of a mess. Yes, I've got a noise on because it is smoky. You can smell the smokiness of the aubergine, which is why the extractor is on, but we are nearly done. You can see that that is nice and squidgy. It doesn't take that long, actually. That's been about 7 minutes. So I'm going to turn that off. Turn that off. Now I can turn my voice down. We're going to take this, put it in there, pop the lid on. All as I did was use my tongs and turn it a number of times. We're going to pop the lid on, let it steam, because then, one, it'll cool down for a little bit, and also it'll be easier for it to get the skin off. In the meantime, I'm going to leave that hob to kind of, maybe use your oven. Depends on how much you like cleaning. So first thing I'm going to do in this pan while the aubergine finishes in the container is I'm going to put some oil on, just a blob. Let that get warm, and then we're going to add a few mustard seeds to it. It's not ready quite yet. I'm putting it a bit early, but there we go. Just those mustard seeds in. And then, while that's doing its thing, we are going to go over to the aubergine and sort this out. So it is steamed off. It's cooled quite a bit, actually. Let's move these potatoes out of the way. go. So I'm just going to get my green bin to put in the skin in, because we're not going to need that. So we're going to take off this top, and the skin, as you can see, is just peeling. There we go. So you're just going to take this off till it is completely clean of all that skin. Some of it will come off easier than other. Your hands will look a mess, but there we go. All I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use a masher to mash up this aubergine so it is nice and soft and all mushed up, because essentially this is a bit like a paste dip thing, is what Beryl described it as a little bit as well. Where's my knife gone? There we go. If you find that it's not quite cooked through, you can just kind of cut into it as well. But basically you're just looking to get it as nice, not completely smooth, but just nice and soft, so that it is nice and easy to eat. And if you do have a little bit of skin left on, it's not the end of the world. So that's that. Scrape all that out. Put those in the sink. And we will move that out of the way. In the meantime, I am just going to chop our potatoes up into rough cubes and then coat them in some cumin, just to add a nice flavour, just so they're a little bit spiced. So all I'm going to do is just pop these in a bowl with the cumin and just give them a little bit of a shake. I'll probably put a little bit of spray oil on them first, just to give them a little bit of stickiness. I'm just watching the mustard seeds. Some of them are moving around slightly, which shows that they're starting to crack open. I'll show you that in just a second. Right, just get some neutral oil, give them a little bit of a spritz. Get some cumin. About a teaspoon should do in total once you've sprinkled it all over. Shake. There we go. I'm going to pop these in the air fryer. On air fry. I never do preheat. I never do turn reminder. I'm going to do these for about 18 minutes at about 186. There, give them a shake. Just keep an eye on them. Give them a shake part way through. In the meantime, I am looking over here and I'm hearing a little bit of popping. You might not be able to hear it, but you might be able to see it moving very slightly. So we are going to go in with our onion first. So I've just chopped up this shallot. I've decided I'm going to leave the mustard seeds in there. You could take them out, that's absolutely fine if you want to, but I think they will add a nice flavour. So that's going to go in there. Get a little spatula, and we're just going to give these a little mix. And we want these to soften. Oh, look, sneaky piece of potato. We want these to soften for a few minutes before we start adding the other flavours. Right, these have been cooking for a little while. If you do find that they start to catch, just put a sprinkle of water in there and it just kind of takes it down a little bit so they can still caramelise and soften without going too far. I've got my ginger. I'm putting about a teaspoon of ginger in there and a heaping teaspoon of garlic, because garlic is amazing. So that's that. We're going to cook that through for a little minute, not for very long, just to get it going. Now, our replacement for the asafoetida is onion and garlic powder. So I'm going to put in a heaping half of each. So that's onion powder. Garlic powder is a slightly darker colour. Don't know if you'll be able to tell in the pan. There we go. A little pinch of chilli. I think if I remember, one recipe said Kashmiri chilli, but I haven't got that. This is just chilies that I've dried myself at home. Give that a quick mix. There we go. We're going to add our tomatoes, if I can undo them. No. Hey, did you hear the pop? That was a good seal. Smell amazing. So those are tomatoes. There we go. And then in with our aubergine, eggplant, whatever you want to call it. There we go. That's just me throwing it into the sink. And what I'm going to do now, we've got 8 minutes left on the potatoes. So I am just going to turn this down on a low heat and let it do its thing while I pop everything away. I'm going to give the potatoes a little shake. So let's see where we're up to. They're starting to get a little bit crispy, but we'll give them a little shake and keep going. Air fried potatoes are done, but what I'm just about to do is get, the trivet that goes in there with a little bit of bread. This is out the freezer. This is just a yogurt and flour bread. If you've ever seen that before, I have done a recipe video on it. I will either link it in the description or I will put it on the bits at the end. Just sprinkle it with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to put it in for a minute just to warm it. Okay, time to dish up. We have got our flatbread, some for me. I'll just tear that, and some for Chris. There we go. Be careful taking out our trivet. And we're going to have some of our cumin potatoes. There we go, nice and crispy. Dish up some of our lovely aubergine. There we go. Now, taste test. Right, I'm going to get a little bit of that. Bit of tomato, definitely some aubergine. There we go, and potato, plenty of potato. There we go. Okay, on camera testing. Oh, the smokiness is there. The slight sweetness of the tomato. You have got slight little kick at the back. That is really good. Great way to use up an aubergine, especially it'd be just like I said at the beginning, a bit different from what you would normally do with an aubergine. Something I've never tried before. Probably will be having again next time we get an aubergine. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried this dish before, or if you've got any other recipes that I could use next time I have an aubergine. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.